Hello, Titans. Thank you for joining us today. This evening, we are going over Tuffy's Basic Needs Open House webinar. My name is Lupe Tinoco Oliveros, and I am the Programming Graduate Assistant for Tuffy's Basic Needs. Today, we're going to be giving you an overview of Tuffy's Basic Needs, including services and programs, and we're going to have time at the end for a moderated Q&A. You're able to submit questions into the chat at any time during this presentation, and we ask that you please send them to Tuffy's Basic Needs. Also, I want to let you know that this webinar is being recorded and it will be posted on our website for later watch. And we do ask that you keep yourselves muted throughout the presentation. Today, I'm excited to be joined by two of Tuffy's Basic Needs staff members. And how about Victoria, we start with introductions.
Thank you, Lupe. Welcome, Titans. My name is Victoria Jamian. I'm the Basic Needs Center Coordinator for Tuffy's Basic Needs Services Center. We're happy that you're able to join us today.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jared Ventura, and I currently serve as the CalFresh Outreach and Enrollment Graduate Assistant. Thank you so much for joining us as well.
Thank you. Victoria, to kick us off, can you please give us an overview of Tuffy's Basic Needs Services?
Absolutely. So just to start off, Tuffy's Basic Needs Services is a part of the Dean of Students Office, if you didn't know that. So we just wanted to share a little bit about how Tuffy's fits in within the Dean of Students Office. So what you see on your screen is our mission statement for the Dean of Students Office. And how Dean of Students Office staff supports students across our campus is really just helping them navigate the university, resolving any educational, personal, really any concerns that might impact a student's Titan experience. On the screen, you'll see our organization chart. So if you're not aware of who and what roles comprise the Dean of Students Office, in the yellow in the center, we're led by our Associate Vice President of Student Affairs and Dean of Students, Dr. Vincent Vigil. Jennifer Wheeler is our project manager, and then we also have student assistants that support our main office staff. On the left in the light blue, you'll see our conduct side of the Dean of Students Office. They're led by the Associate Dean of Students and Director of Student Conduct, Amanda Davidson. And then you can see the staff below. But Tuffy's Basic Needs Services falls within the Care Services side of the Dean of Students Office. We're led by our Associate Dean of Students and Director of Care Services, Carmen Curiel. We also have a Care Services Coordinator, Marlene Romero. You've met our two graduate assistants, and then we also have student assistants that provide support for basic needs. So you heard that basic needs falls within the care services side of the Dean of Students Office. So what are care services? What we do is we help students develop healthy plans of action that restore well-being and promote success while they're here at Cal State Fullerton. And this can look very different depending on each student's unique circumstances, but it could comprise of accessing involvement opportunities on campus, so getting them connected to different student organizations, involvement areas, connecting them to the correct areas on campus to help them feel connected. They could be helping students problem solve any specific challenges they may be facing. Those could be academic, those could be emotional, behavioral, whatever. It could be any of those. And then we can also help students by providing university related information. So sometimes, Cal State Fullerton is a large place. We're 40,000 students here, and we can kind of get lost from time to time. So we're certainly here to help students find the information that they need. So you heard a little bit about what they are, and so why do we offer them here at Cal State Fullerton? So first, I'll just address who is in the picture. So I'm on the far left, Marlene is in the center, and Carmen is on the right. But as you heard, Care Services is really here to help support students in their Titan experience. So students that are experiencing some sort of distress that might hinder them academically, emotionally, behaviorally, or physically, Care Services is there to provide that care-related guidance and support to students who are experiencing those distressing situations. These are services that are designed for students who have a concern. So this might be navigational issues across the university. So like, where do I find where I get my transcript printed? How do I, do an academic appeal? Students in distress may be students who are noticed by a faculty member, staff member, or even another peer that they might be going through something, and it might be beneficial for them to receive that care-related support from our staff. And then obviously, basic needs support also falls within care services too. So to provide a little bit of context about how Basic Needs and Tuffy's Basic Needs Services Center came to CSUF, back in 2015, the CSU Chancellor Timothy White commissioned a study that went to the 23 CSU campuses to evaluate and understand the food and housing insecurity among the CSU students. The first survey, though, went to faculty, staff, and administrators to understand their perspectives of their student bodies. Based on that 2015 survey, a 2016 survey went out again to all 23 campuses, but this time to the student bodies. So students were asked about their perspectives of food and housing insecurity among their own campus. From those findings, about 41.5% of CSU students reported food insecurity, and almost 11% reported experiencing homelessness at least one or more times in the last 12 months of taking that survey. So as you can imagine, students who are reporting food insecurity, housing insecurity, or a combination of both are experiencing physical and mental health consequences, and oftentimes they're also experiencing lower academic achievement due to those concerns. So from that, that's how Tuffy's Basic Needs Services Center came to be here at Cal State Fullerton. So for the fall semester, we are providing virtual assistance to students Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The best way to reach us right now is through our email. So you can send us an email at basicneeds@fullerton.edu. We also post a lot on our Instagram, so you can follow us at Basic Needs CSUF. But then you can also check out our website. So there's a bit.ly link there, but you can also just Google Tuffy's Basic Needs Services Center to find us. So on the screen, you'll see our eligibility criteria for students who are seeking basic needs services. So as the Basic Needs Center coordinator, I'm here to support students by offering care-related guidance and resources, specifically to students who are experiencing food, financial, or housing insecurity. So services are for students who are enrolled and matriculated at the time of their request. Matriculated means in a degree-seeking program. Students are experiencing an unforeseen crisis, emergency, or catastrophic event that could be impacting their ability to stay enrolled here at Cal State Fullerton. They're able to demonstrate urgent financial need, and sometimes they're able to provide documentation. And we certainly understand there are some circumstances where a student may not have documentation, but we'll work with that student depending on their circumstances. They may have no other financial resources available. And then you'll see an asterisk next to in good academic standing. So if a student doesn't know if they're in good academic standing, or they don't believe they are in good academic standing, that doesn't preclude them from accessing our services. So we still encourage students to reach out to us, to submit a request form, or email us. We'd be happy to help them in any way that we can. And then at the bottom, you see that all requests are subject to review by a Basic Needs Services Review Committee. So for fall 2020, we're here to connect students who are experiencing food, housing, and financial insecurity to available on our off-campus resources. So when we meet with a student, it is very much individualized based on each student's concerns. And so we bring up resources, whether again, they're on or off campus, to best support that student's need. So to do that, students who submit a Basic Needs Services request just meet with us, discuss their circumstances, and then we develop might be a good action plan or referrals based on their concerns. Just given the ongoing circumstances with COVID-19 and being mindful of compliance with health and safety guidelines, some basic needs services may be paused or adjusted throughout the semester. So if that happens, updates to services will be posted throughout the semester on our website, and you can always certainly email us with any questions or concerns. One service that we're able to provide even in this virtual environment is access to hygiene products. So students can still access our hygiene products right now through the Student Health Center. Students can access up to 5 hygiene products per month or as needed. So to do so, you just call the Student Health Center. The times and the phone number are right there on the screen. You can also just look them up on the Student Health Center website. And that's just to set up a time to collect those needed hygiene products. So students can call. The list of hygiene products that we usually have available are down at the bottom. Again, that could be subject to change throughout the semester. So just call the Student Health Center, set up a time, and let them know what products you may need. I do also just want to share that the majority of our hygiene products are donated from our faculty and staff. So very much a campus-wide support that we have here at Tuffy's Basic Needs Services Center.
Thank you, Victoria, for that great information. Jared, can you share a little bit about your role at Tuffy's Basic Needs?
Yes, thank you, Lupe. Hi Titans, again my name is Jared Ventura and I currently serve as the CalFresh Outreach and Enrollment Graduate Assistant. And so in fall 2020 we will be providing CalFresh virtual assistance. So CalFresh is a nutrition assistance program to help individuals and households purchase fresh groceries. If you would like to apply for CalFresh benefits, please submit a basic needs services request for a virtual application assistance and I'll be able to help you submit your CalFresh application.
Thank you, Jared. Victoria, I heard Jared talk a little bit about a basic needs services request. How do students submit a request?
Yeah, absolutely. So students can submit a Tuffy's Basic Needs Services request form online, and we'll show you how to do that in a second. But first, I do want to share that students are asked to submit their own request form due to the sensitive nature of their circumstances. So certainly if you feel like maybe a friend or a peer might benefit from this, you can provide them our contact information, show them the link to our request form, but each student needs to submit their own request. And that's just to be mindful of the, like I said, the sensitive nature of their circumstances. So to find our online request form, you can just go to the Dean of Students website. So a couple of ways you can find the basic needs request form. So if you just went to the Dean of Students website, you can see there's a couple of boxes at the very bottom, and the one that's highlighted is basic needs services request. So you could just click from it there. Our online request form pops up. Just some information at the very beginning about what to expect. We go over our eligibility criteria, and then we ask you some information about your circumstances. So you put in your information, and then you'll see just a variety of different questions that we are going to ask. The more information that you can provide on this request form is just really helpful to our staff and better understanding how we can assist you. So, it is up to you how much you include, but like I said, the more information you can provide is really helpful. We just want to make sure we connect you to the most appropriate resources, whether those are on or off campus. So I mentioned there was a second way that you could find our online request form. So if you go back to just the Dean of Students webpage, at the very top, you'll see a bar for Tuffy's Basic Needs Services. So you could click that. That takes us to our specific website. On the left-hand side, you'll see a bunch of different links, but the one that says submit a request is where you want to go. Gives a little bit of information there about how long it'll take for us to follow up with you, and then you can just completing the online form, and the exact same form will populate that you saw earlier. So after you submit the form, what happens next? So once you submit your request form, one of our care services staff members will reach out to you to schedule a meeting. And during that meeting, we'll really just discuss the concerns that were presented, identify and coordinate some resources and referrals. Again, whether those are on or off campus, that may really be beneficial to you. We might be developing an action plan. Again, it just depends on what your needs are. And we may be following up with you. But follow-up is really dependent on the situation. So sometimes one meeting is all a student may need. They feel like they get the resources they need and they know what they want to do next. And sometimes it may be a couple of follow-up meetings. Again, it just depends. It's a very individualized meeting per student. And then at the bottom, you see that students are not required or mandated to meet with us if they submit a basic needs request. So sometimes a student decides they actually just change their mind. They don't want to meet with us. Sometimes they're able to resolve their own concerns and they have no longer need of our services. So know that even if you submit one and you decide not to meet with us, that's totally fine. You can always submit one at a later date. So some other things that I wanted to share with you that are on our website that are just helpful given what's going on in our COVID-19 circumstances. We have a bunch of resources for off-campus services that might just be helpful to you. So we have a COVID-19 resource guide that is updated periodically. It's a PDF file. It includes information about off-campus resources like financial assistance, different food assistance, other community resources, things like how to find free ebooks, for example. So there's a lot of different things in there that you could look at. The California Coronavirus COVID-19 Response website is the official California website. We make a lot of referrals here. They have a specific tab under Get Help that includes a lot of different resources that are valuable. So financial help, food assistance, help for immigrant communities is also there. So a lot of different resources, and we know not everyone's back here in Fullerton. So if you are living up in NorCal or not in the central part of the state, this is still applicable because it's for the entirety of California. We also have our Orange County Housing Resource Guide. This is really a resource guide for emergency shelters, transitional housing, low-income rentals, specifically to Orange County. But again, if you live outside of Orange County, there's information in there about 211 that can help you get connected to resources outside of Orange County. So just know that even though it says Orange County Housing Resource Guide, it helps you get connected to other areas of the state. And then I also wanted to share some information about eviction moratorium. So right now, an eviction moratorium is in place through the end of September. This isn't rent relief. This is just a pause in payments. So if you're having issues paying your rent because of COVID-19, there's some information on the California coronavirus response website, so that California website, about what you can do. And then we've also included a sample letter and some eviction FAQs if you live specifically in the city of Fullerton. But if you don't, again, I'd refer you back to the response website because that's again for the entirety of the state. So we'll show you how you can find these resources on our website. So if you are here on the Dean of Students Office website, there's a couple of ways. You see on that blue bar, it says COVID-19 related resources. You can click there, and then these resources will pop up. So there's links to the different areas. They're all here. There's even a little bit more than what I've discussed. So just know that is accessible for you there from either our website or the Dean of Students main website.
Thank you, Jared and Victoria, for that information. Now, I want to share with you that we have been working over the summer to create a calendar of programs from now until December. And you're able to see our programming schedule on our website and on our social media, so check both for updates. But I want to share with you that next week, Jared will be walking us through a CalFresh presentation, and the following week, we will be having a Financial Aid 101 webinar. If you are not able to attend our webinars, that is okay because they will all be recorded and posted onto our website, so you can watch them at a later time. And now we will be moving into our Q&A portion of our webinar. So take a couple minutes if you want to write down any questions in the chat. But before we answer your questions, we'd like you to answer some of our questions. And so please take a couple seconds to answer the following questions. It shouldn't take any more than 30 seconds. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna end the poll now. And I want to thank you all for your feedback. Jared and Victoria, now I will turn it over to you for a Q&A.
Thank you, Lupe. Victoria, we have a question in the chat regarding about hygiene products and how many hygiene products can students access in the fall 2020 semester?
Absolutely. So students can access up to 5 hygiene products, like I said, per month or as needed. That's just something, like you said, you call student health, let them know what products you need, and they'll help you out in picking those up. But if you don't need the full 5, you can access 3 or however many you may need. But the maximum per month is 5.
Thank you for that information. Also, we have another question regarding submitting a basic needs services request form. Can students submit a request for their friend?
Yeah, so you heard me talk a little bit about how our meetings with students are very individualized. It's based on each student's unique circumstances. So no, if you think your friend or a peer might really benefit from basic needs services, maybe they've mentioned something to you or you've just noticed something that you think this might just be helpful. Again, I would encourage them to reach out to us. You can give them our website. You can give them the link to our form, our email, but don't fill out the request on behalf of someone else. Like I said, it's based on each person's circumstances, and our online form is private, so only care services staff will be reviewing that. So again, it's based on your circumstances, and we do use that to really tailor the meeting with students, make sure we're connecting them to the most appropriate resources.
Thank you. And we have another question in the chat regarding the CalFresh application and how it affects students.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that question one more time for me?
Yes, we have a question in the chat regarding submitting CalFresh applications and how does that affect students? Does it affect their financial aid, student status, things of that nature?
Yeah, so actually, Jared, since you're our CalFresh Outreach Coordinator, I'll turn it back to you so you can answer that question and share your expertise with us.
Sure. So the CalFresh application does not affect your financial aid status, and it does not affect your student status. So there are student eligibility requirements that you must meet in order to be eligible for CalFresh. And that will also be talked about in our webinar next week, next Wednesday at our What is CalFresh webinar on Wednesday, September 2nd. We also have another question regarding submitting a requesting a laptop, and how do students do that?
Sure. So that's actually not through basic needs, it's through IT, but we can certainly show you how you can request a device through CSUF. So if you go to the Dean of Students website, so again, just our main page, you'll see under the basic needs request form link, there's a COVID-19 related device request. We won't click it because it makes you log in with your CSUF portal credentials essentially. So your username and the password that you use to access your portal, your email, etc. But when you log in, you can select what device you may need. So this could be a laptop, this could be a MiFi hotspot. So if you need Wi-Fi, it could be a webcam or a headset or a combination of those. So there's a couple of questions that IT has asked. You submit the request form and then an IT staff member will follow up with you to let you know if your request has been approved and how you can pick up those devices from campus.
Thank you, Victoria. And another question, when students submit a basic needs request form, how soon will they hear back from a staff member?
Sure. So we definitely understand that students who may be experiencing some sort of food, housing, or financial insecurity are distressed and might be concerned about some ongoing issues. So we do try to reach out to students as quickly as possible. It's usually within 1 business day, but it could be up to 3 business days for us to reach out to you.
Thank you. As of now, I'm not seeing any more questions in the chat, but this is your final opportunity to submit any questions that you may have.
Okay, if there are no more questions, then I want to thank everybody for coming to our open house today. I do want to remind you that this was recorded and it will be accessible on our website. And also don't forget to join us next Wednesday, September 2nd at 10 a.m. for a What is CalFresh webinar. And yes, and we do have one more feedback poll afterwards with 4 quick questions. So if you are interested, you can hang back and we would be able to get your feedback. But other than that, thank you, Titans, for joining us today, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, Titans.
Thank you so much.